Hey guys, Josh here, and this is my review of the new Vic Mensa album, Hooligans. This is his most recent work since all the controversies involving X and 6ix9ine. I'd personally prefer to not talk about them because there's so much to mention here with the music alone. The issue is, what I have to mention is not that good. I am severely disappointed as someone who would say they are a decently big Vic Mensa fan, considering there's only about 7 of us now. The album's pretty short, only about 8 tracks. Well, not only about, it is only 8 tracks. And that's following a pretty recent trend, and quite frankly, it is a mental breakdown and midlife crisis in his work, and it is not where I wanted him to go and not where he should stay. It is not okay. The opening, shouting hooligans on Dancing in the Streets, is not good. That's going to come up a lot this review because he does it a lot, and quite frankly, it might as well be 6ix9ine shouting out Scum Gang. Another really horrible thing in music. So the production is really good throughout the entire album. That's one thing I will not fault. It does sound really good, and you can tell there's a lot of people working on this. I know Marshmello produced 1 or 2 tracks. I'm not personally a fan. I just found that pretty cool. So anyway, it somewhat sounds like You Mad with Kanye, and I mean that in a good way, because it's a sound that Vic Mensa was really good at, and not necessarily unique to him, but it was something that he was good at and he could really make some good music doing. The autobiography on his previous album, it somewhat came through, but he did change his style a little bit, a lot more narrative and storytelling in that album, which I really enjoyed. However, here, the last half minutes is some really bad singing. Nothing on this track really stands out, and it's a shame because it's by and large downhill from here. Dark things. So I only have 2 subscribers, so this really won't go noticed, but I still want to give credit where credit is due. And I would like to thank Blackie Speaks for giving some really good input and opinions on the song. I'm a big fan of him. Anyway, this song is really just sad boy rap as it gets. It's 2018 at its finest. Really infectious chorus. Overall, good song, and one of the few I really enjoy, or would ever come back to. But this isn't a Vic Mensa song, adding to the midlife crisis I mentioned. It's not even close to what he's done in the past. I really love when an artist pushes himself in a different direction, but this album has so many hard shifts on it, where it stands and how it wants to sound isn't enjoyable. The song on its own is really good, one of the 2 or 3 I did like a lot. But again, going back to Blackie Speaks and his video of Vic Mensa being possessed by Juice WRLD, that holds very true. It is not an argument. He's trying to make a song with anything that will have more mainstream appeal, which isn't a bad thing because as an artist, you want to make money and you want to be heard. But this is so out of left field, especially for Vic, when he already has songs about him being sad and depressed. Like from the autobiography, his song Heaven on Earth is a really great song with something Vic excels at. I think he's an excellent storyteller. But here, it's just, there's no story. It's just him being sad, auto-tuned voice. And those are not things I have a problem with. I just have a problem with Vic changing his style and lane so harsh to do what I view as trying to save his record sales, because the autobiography did not do well. He's been getting a lot of backlash. And quite frankly, I think this is kind of an, not insult, but I don't think it's something that I should really enjoy, because this is not what I want from Vic Mensa in the slightest. In Some Trouble. Before the album came out, about a day or 2 before, I saw it on Vic's Instagram, a video of the song playing in the background, and I said it sounds like a hit. I sent it to some of my friends saying, hey, this sounds like it could be a really big song if it wasn't by Vic Mensa. As a little joke, and I stand by that opinion. It is a really good song, but sadly Ty Dolla $ign is what makes the song. His chorus is so fucking nice in every way. It's great. Vic does good here, but again, it doesn't go with the previous 2 songs. For a song called In Some Trouble, it doesn't address the very real trouble Vic has been in lately. And quite frankly, the ending voicemails is so fucking frustrating, because I hate skits in albums. I think most people hate skits in albums, but if you want this on the fucking album, don't make the last 20 to 30 seconds of your album just people leaving angry voicemails. I mean, it's not clever. It's not. If this song was about him addressing some of the issues and the hates he's been getting for voicing his opinion, which is up for you to agree with or defend him on, whether it was justified or not, I'm not going to voice my opinion on that because I want to talk about the music. The issue is just, it doesn't fit. The song's called In Some Trouble, and at no point does he mention him being in trouble for the things he's done as of late, and that is just not what you should be doing. When I saw the name, I thought this was going to be a really hard-hitting song about his opinion, how he feels, his struggles with what's been going on as of late, and it's not. It's just a really catchy song. So, good song? Yes. Do I like it? Yes. But this is a Ty Dolla $ign song, not a Vic Mensa song. Rowdy. Again, the song's trying to be a 6ix9ine song, and it's a fucking shame. Every time I hear Hooligan obnoxiously shouted, he might as well be shouting out Scum Gang. The chorus is repetitive and the song's boring. All you can say is for the 4th time, the album doesn't flow, and it's such a letdown when the previous album by him, The Autobiography, as you could imagine by the name, had a really good transition, really good narrative and storytelling. Things that are very hard to do in music. People like Father John Misty, people like Bob Dylan, so people who really have to work hard and to get good narratives into their songs. It almost seemed like it came naturally to Vic, and I have no idea why he's trying to change his style to be more like this. And I gotta say, for all the times he mentions Glock and gang gang gang, it might as well be a 6ix9ine song, and that's a real disappointment to me. So Reverse is a song where I just lost about all my hope I had for this project and got very disappointed. So as far as production goes, just like everything else on this album, it's produced beautifully. Great beats. I gotta give it to him at least on that one point. However, this is the first song where I had to straight up pause and laugh. And that's not something I'd expect from Vic Mensa, but he goes, "Peck my millimeter." And I fucking lost it. I could not stop laughing for a good 45 seconds to a minute. He sounded so serious. Like he really meant it to be hard, when that's not how he should have delivered that line if he wanted to be funny, which I'm assuming he is. I'm assuming that he wants to be funny with it. That's cool. But don't sound that serious while doing so. On top of that, the autotune he's using and the way he's making his voice sound, he sounds like he's trying to be Travis Scott here. And that just goes to my idea of this is a midlife crisis right here. This is not Vic Mensa. This is him trying to do anything and going as many different directions as possible to at least hit one market of music listeners and hope they latch on to the rest of his work, which I think is horrible. For someone who idolizes Kurt Cobain, the line "shotgun like I'm Kurt" is in very bad taste. I personally don't take an issue with it. I could really care less what someone says in their music. It's their music. That's what it's here for them to do. However, I could see it not going over well with a lot of people, and I think it's a very mean thing to say about something you openly idolize. Kind of in bad taste overall, I'd say. But that's not my song, so he can put on it what he wants. G-Eazy does just about nothing for this song, and this is where I really just gave up on life listening to this. So, Klonopin. At this point, hearing Hooligans shouted so much to make me think that Vic Mensa is trying to summon Tekashi's spirit from his jail cell, and that could be true. Who knows? And at this point, I just want to make a shoehorned PSA, if you will, and I'm very sorry if this comes across preachy, but this song to me got me quite angry when I heard it, because it's very preachy in a bad way. And granted, I want to address that this song does sound like it comes from a very dark place, and I really hope you're doing okay, Vic. Despite how this review is, I really do love your music, and I really do want you to go back to your old self. And let me just explain why I feel this way about the song. This cultural shift of idolizing things like Xans, which is the most common one at the moment, is not okay. I've personally seen people OD. I was 10 years old the first time I watched it happen, and it is a fucking terrifying sight. And this is the most personal I'll probably ever be in a review, and I'm very sorry if anyone doesn't want to hear this, by the way. But it's a terrifying sight, and the idea of a 27 club that Vic mentions at least twice on this album, which is about once every 15 minutes because the album's only about 30 minutes long, it's not a good thing. You should not be shooting to be dead at that young of an age. Fuck me. I'm leaving this part in just to get the emotion across, I guess. Fuck, right? So, I mean, drugs have been a part of his music for as long as people have been getting high. But for someone like Vic Mensa, who said the things he said solely because he wanted to seem woke and politically active, and like he was trying to be a voice of change in music, which, if he said those things that he did, and that was his true reasoning, I might not agree, but I can at least respect what he's trying to do and trying to do something positive. But this song just fucking contradicts any chance of portraying it that way. You're idolizing yourself for self-medicating, and that's not something that you should encourage to anybody. It's not okay, and I'm rambling here, and I'm sorry, but this song just really struck me the wrong way, because in the past year and like a half, like people like Lil Peep, Mac Miller, people are overdosing quite commonly now in music and out of music, and I don't want anyone thinking that things like drugs are a good escape. They're really not. So, yeah, I'm sorry for anyone who didn't want to hear my little emotional rant. The One That Got Away dash Snowshoes. This is the song I wanted at first. Vic Mensa is an amazing storyteller, as I mentioned before. I can't express that enough. It's a really desired trait in an artist to be able to tell like a song with a story. I think it's really rare, and to be good at it as he was is very impressive. However, this song starts out as an apology, most likely to the girl from the song Homewrecker, and there's a lot going on here. Both great songs with a good narrative. Granted, Homewrecker has a fucked up message, but it's a good song musically. However, the second verse, I have no fucking clue what's going on here. The second half is a 180 with angry lyrics, and quite frankly, I have no fucking clue if it's an apology anymore. I listened to it about 6 or 7 times with the lyrics open, and I have no idea if he's apologizing or not at this point. And I really hope you are, Vic, after the things you said, because I understand that you were public about your situation, and I respect that you were honest with things going on in your life, but you can't like keep going back to this idea and this portrayal of, yes, I beat her, and yes, I was cheating, but this, and this. You need to like move on as an artist and as a person, and it's not okay anymore to just keep defaulting to this when you want like an emotional storytelling song. You got to grow as an artist and not just do the growth of what me copy whatever's in the mainstream. And to end the album, we have Deserve It. This song is quite possibly one of the weirdest flexes I've ever heard. There's not much more to say about it. It's just a really weird flex saying about how he deserves his fame and how he deserves everything he's gotten so far. And I would argue he does. He's a very good artist, but Jesus Christ, Vic, this is not the direction you should be going at all. The second part of this song, if you cut it off and you put Hobson's name on it, and I only read the lyrics, I would think it's a fucking Hobson song because it's so preachy. And it's so, oh, she deserves it. She deserves better. She can do better. And it's like, yes, Victor, I'm glad you think someone can do better. I'm really glad you feel this way. But quite frankly, it's not a good ending. It's an okay song. It's one of the few that maybe I'll go back to out of the 2. It's just not what, this entire album is not you, Vic. And I really hope you go back to the autobiography. And I understand that maybe, and this is all speculation, I really do think you're trying to go get your sale numbers up. I'm not sure what your situation is, but I know the autobiography did not do as good as I imagine you were hoping, because you had some serious money and some seriously good features. You had a lot of big names on that album, and it was a great album that sadly flopped. And the thing is, Vic, I know you're better than whatever this entire album was. To end this review, all I can say is I'm very disappointed. He had a very unique sound, and one he was really, really good at, for a chance to maybe get some more streams and more appeal instead of doing a formula that may have not made waves, but it made great impressions. The whole joke of who can name a Vic Mensa song, I think, has gone a bit far. Every person I know who can name a Vic Mensa song love Liquor Locker. They love The Fire Next Time. They love all his older songs, and while I think it's usually a cop-out to say the old stuff was better, whatever Vic was trying to do here, it didn't work for me at all, and I don't think it's going to work for a lot of people. This is just a schizophrenic mental album because each song sounds like they should not go together, and this isn't like The Life of Pablo where it's every single sound he's ever made thrown together at once, and it somehow just kind of works nicely. This is not that. This is an album that is trying to reach as many people as possible with just one song and hoping they cling to it. I have very, very bad feelings on this album, and that's a shame because I fucking love his old work. All I can tell you is I hope Vic goes back to his sounds like on You Mad, Rolling Like a Stoner, The Fire Next Time. Great songs, not whatever the fuck he did here. And I'm very sorry again for my emotional rants previously. I just wanted to get that point across, and after about 10 takes, I figured fuck it.